Hey, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I will be reviewing and breaking down Take Profit Trader, a futures prop trading firm. This was a highly requested video, so thank you to everyone and their patience while I got this together. Now, quick disclaimer is that I do not have any trading experience with Take Profit Trader. I've never bought an account with them. I only have a login to their dashboard. So I'm not able to speak on personal experience for their customer service, their platform, their account, or anything of that nature. What you are going to see in the slides, though, is from their website, from the reviews of other traders, and on social media as well. So this is a quick overview of what you can expect from today's video. And starting with the first slide of the company background, the CEO is James Sixsmith. James was a professional athlete as a hockey player. And as he went along his trading journey, he initially lost $150,000 before he finally became profitable. Now, this is straight off their website here, but it says, Take Profit Trader isn't a first of its kind company. We exist because I have been in the industry for 12 years, and I still do not see it a place that is quote unquote in it for the customer. You can see from the short list, which is down here, that we are trying to change the game by being better. So what I'm expecting from Take Profit Trader is that they are going to be really well and excel in these different pillars in order to make the game better for traders, right? So education, customer service, easy access to funding, all asset classes, and instant withdrawals is what their main focuses are for TBT, is what I'm gathering. These are the different accounts offered. There's 5 from the 25K all the way to the 150K. And going over the account rules for the evaluation phase, it's going to start off with the end of day drawdown. We have 5 minimum trading days required in order to, meet that requirement. Daily loss limit is applied, which is different per account size. As you can see here, 25K daily loss is 500 versus the 150K daily loss is 3,300. And then we have the 50% consistency rule. There's no algos or trading bots allowed, and if you are a trader that tends to hold trades for a very short amount of time, but for like a few seconds at a time, then TPT might not be the company for you just because they do not allow that type of trading style. So again, if you are opening and closing trades within 1 to 3, maybe even 5 seconds, then TPT might not be able to accept you as one of their traders. But don't worry, there's a bunch of other companies out there that are willing to take that kind of trading style if that's the case. Now, you are able to have as many evaluations as you want, but when you do move into the sim funded and the live funded account, the max total sum of accounts is 3. So whether that's 2 Pro and 1 Pro Plus, or it's 1 Pro and 2 Pro Pluses, the max you can have in total is 3 for either option. Now, to break down the account rules a little bit more to better understand them, for the daily loss limit, as you can see right here, if you were to ever hit or breach the daily loss limit, then your trading account will be closed. You won't be temporarily kicked out and you can log in the next day. It is not like Top Step. Instead, it's going to be where once you hit the DLL, your account is permanently closed and you'll have to wait for your rebill, or you can pay for a reset, I believe, in order to retrade your account again. But the daily loss limit is another way of liquidating your account entirely. So definitely keep note of that, because every company is a little bit different with their DLL. So with this company, they are going to immediately close your account if you ever hit it. The permitted time to trade is from 6 p.m. all the way to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So literally from market open to market close, you're able to trade. I believe they're one of the few companies that actually offer the full range time frame from open to close for traders to trade. But keep in mind that if you are in a trade when the market does close, then basically you aren't able to exit that trade and it will essentially liquidate your account, which means your account would be closed out. So you do want to make sure you are exiting and flattening all positions before the actual market close. If I could recommend anything, at least 5 minutes before, just to be safe, and then go in again, make sure you flatten all positions, and then you'll be safe for at least that portion of the rule. And then finally, for the consistency rule, it is 50%. So the highest day cannot be more than 50% of your total profits. This is from their website, a quick example. For one trading day, you make 2,000. The rest of the days, you make a combined 1,100. So using the formula of the best highest day of $2,000 divided by your total profits in your account, which is 3,100, your consistency percent will come out to 65%, which is obviously above 50. So in order to bring the percentage down, you have to continue trading to to make more total profits, and that will lessen the percent. So if your best day is 2 grand, but you brought up the total profits of your account to 4,001, then that would eventually equal less than 50%. So then now you are respecting the consistency rule. Now for the timeline of accounts, the overview goes from eval, pass it, and then you go into the pro account, which is similar to eval where it's a sim funded account. But once you do make 5 grand in profit, you are moved into the live, which is the pro plus account. Now while your pro plus account is being set up, you can continue to trade your pro account, but keep note that you have to have a minimum of $5,000 in your pro account in order to access the pro plus live account. If you don't have the 5 grand, then you won't be able to access your live account at all. And of course, it is completely discretionary up to the customer service team of TPT for that as well. Now on the right hand side, you can see my comparison chart from the Pro versus the Pro Plus. And then I'm going to show you a visual picture of the 3 different phases at the end of this. So for the Pro account, the biggest difference when you go into it is that it becomes trailing drawdown. So remember, the eval is end of day, and when you go into the Pro, it becomes trailing. Now, of course, your trailing will eventually become static, but it is still a huge shift to go from end of day to trailing. If you don't know what trailing drawdown is, it is basically where your highest unrealized gains on your account is followed intraday. So as an example, if you have an open position where the highest peak it goes up to is $1,000 in profits, but you don't close it, you close it at $500 in profit. Although you closed it at $500 in profit, the system is going to read it that you got to $1,000, the highest. So it's going to say, hey, because you're at that highest unrealized gain, the highest peak at that point, we're going to mark it there. So technically you might be down $500 in drawdown, even because you closed it at $500 in profit instead of the $1,000 in profit. The second thing for the pro account is you are able to reset it up to 3 times. So TPT is one of the few prop companies out there that allows you to actually reset your sim funded accounts. So giving you the option to do up to 3 times. The price is completely dependent and discretionary to the TPT team as well. It's not listed anywhere. That is like super concrete. But from what I've seen from other traders and their reviews is that it's anywhere between $800 to $1,500 for a reset of a pro account. So yes, you do have the option to reset it, or you can go through the eval phase again and work your way through and build your account up to pass it, and it might be a lot more cost effective that way. The third thing is that it's a faster setup time. So I believe it's about 12 hours to set it up, give or take more or less, but it is still pretty quick to set up the pro account versus the pro plus. And then finally, the profit split is 80-20, where 80% goes to you and 20% stays with the company. With the Pro Plus live account, because it is in the live market, you do have to pay a professional data fee of $122. I believe that is per month as well. I might be wrong though, so feel free to comment down below if you are a Pro Plus trader and if you do pay per month or if it's a one-time fee. Now for the setup time, it is 1 to 2 business days, and this is definitely a lot faster than other live account setups in other prop firms. Other firms are 3 to 5 days, so this definitely cuts that time in half. So, big shout out to TPT if that is the case, being able to get accounts set up a lot quicker. The split is 90% to you, 10% to the company. And for the profits above your $5,000 in your Pro Plus account, you are able to withdraw it instantaneously. So to give an example, if your starting day is 5 grand, but you make $200, then you are able to take already off the bat a 90-10 split off that $200 right away if you wanted to. Now, some similarities between the Pro and Pro Plus is that there's no more daily loss limit to worry about. So if you remember, I had spoken about the daily loss on the 25K is $500, and if you ever were to hit your daily loss limit on any account, your account would ultimately close out and be liquidated. But for the Pro and Pro Plus, there is no daily loss limit to worry about. You do have to place at least 1 trade between Sunday to Friday to keep your account active. And you do have to respect the CME price limits. To see what the price limits are on a daily basis, you go to the CME website, which you can also actually find it on the TPT website. There is a link that they provide where you can click it. It takes you directly to where you need to be. But basically, there's a maximum and like a low minimum for your instrument you're trading, and you have to make sure you're trading between the two. You can't trade on the outside of either 2 of those numbers. And then finally, there's no news trading 1 minute before and after a news release. So if there's a news release at 10 a.m., you can't have any open positions between 9:59 through 10:01 a.m. Anytime before or after is totally fine. So that is going to be the breakdown of the timeline for your accounts, as well as the differences between the Pro and Pro Plus. And this is the visual board I wanted to show you that breaks down each of the phases and also different aspects of the phases too. You can actually find this on their website as well, so feel free to, again, do your due diligence on their website and their help center to make sure you know everything that is going on between all the different accounts, different phases, and what actually makes TPT stand out. There is going to be a one-time setup fee, so when you do pass your evaluation, you get moved into the Pro account, and there is a $130 one-time fee that you have to pay in order to get your Pro account. Now for the bread and butter of the video, it's going to be the payout policy, and I do believe this is one of the shining highlights of TPT that traders love to look upon, because TPT has one of the best payout policy rules out there. And definitely, if you are an active trader with TPT and you are taking payouts, feel free to comment down below how your story and your journey has been with them so far, because I think it'd be kind of nice to know someone that actually has experience with trading with them and, you know, be able to share some 2 cents about how it works over there when you do reach the payout. But for the Pro account, once you reach your buffer level, you are able to withdraw 80% of your profits. The buffer level is equivalent to your max drawdown of your account. So the 50K account drawdown is $2,000. So once you have $2,000 profits in your 50K funded Pro account, then you could start withdrawing 80% of that profit. Now let's say though that you don't want to wait till you hit the max drawdown or the buffer level of your account. You want to start taking profits out when you're inside the buffer zone. So using the same example of the 50K Pro account, $2,000 profit, that's the buffer level. If you have $1,000, so that's half of the 2K that's needed. If you have $1,000, you can still take profits, right? You can still take a payout. If your Pro account has been open for less than 60 days and you have $1,000 in your account right now for profits, you can take 50% of that. But if your Pro account has been open for more than 60 days and you have $1,000 profit, you can take 80% of that. So for the first line, you can take $500 out of the 1,000 that's available. And then for the second line, account that's been open for more than 60 days, you can take $800 home, whereas, or out of the 1,000 that is currently sitting in there. For the Pro Plus, as I mentioned earlier, as long as you're above, that $5,000, any profits above that, you can start withdrawing it right away at a 90-10 split. So whatever amount that is, you can start withdrawing it literally without any issues or hesitation at all. So I've seen traders take out multiple payouts throughout the day on a daily basis with TPT, and definitely, for traders are able to do that, big respect and shout out to you guys. But if you are looking for a company that offers that kind of flexibility with payouts, this is definitely the company to move with, because you're able to take out so many all in one day, as many times as you want. Now there is fees depending on how much you take out. So if you have a payout over $250, you don't pay any fee. But if you have a payout under $250, there is a $50 fee. So in reality, if you have a payout that is, equivalent to $250, you pay a $50 fee. You're really bringing home $200. It does take 24 hours to be approved into your wallet, and the wallet is actually really neat. It's found in your dashboard, which we'll cover in just a moment. And from there, the money, when you transfer it from your wallet to your bank, it could take about 2 business days, obviously depending on the day of the transfer. If it's a Thursday or a Friday, there's the weekend to worry about if it's a holiday. But the average time frame should be anywhere between like 2 to 3 business days for you to get your money in your account. As far as the options for the payout processor, we have Plaid for US banks, and then PayPal and Wise for international. So I do have experience with all 3 different processors, not specifically with TPT, but just in general. And these are some very solid options. They're very trustworthy. They're very quick. So these are really great processors that they have. So again, the bread and butter of TPT is the payout policy, and as you can clearly see, there's not any crazy requirements for you to even be able to take a payout. Matter of fact, they make it even a little bit easier if you want to take payouts inside your buffer zone. It's totally up to you. So the fact that they're being flexible with that too just shows that they do have a pretty solid, flexible, and pretty easygoing payout policy rule. Now, switching over to the trader dashboard, it definitely is a little bit more dark. But one thing that really stood out for me as I was scrolling along is the color scheme. So as you can see, we have black, right? So it's very just blank. And then we have the bright green, right? And if we go to the next page too, you can see the same thing. The calendar is very, very green. We have the equity curve, the growth curve, whichever you want to call it, is green. The good stuff is green, right? And if you aren't familiar with how colors affect your mood, it's interesting because with the color green, I mean, the first thing at least I like to think of as a trader is profits, is money, is good. So with TPT, I think they're kind of like bouncing off of that idea that green is a good thing, especially for a trader. I might be totally, off the target on this one, but at least that's what I've gathered from seeing their dashboard and seeing that bright color green just stick out compared to the rest. Now, as you can see, as I mentioned in the beginning, I don't have any accounts with them whatsoever. So you'll see that I have nothing with them ever at all, no history. But I do have a login, right? So once you do log in, you can like play around with the dashboard. And one part that I really do think is a huge feature is the personal wallet right here. So as I mentioned, when you do request your payout, it takes 24 hours for the money to appear in your TPT wallet. And this is one of the like only firms I know where you can have your own personal wallet in the dashboard. And then you can see all the history of your payouts, your requests, and when you click withdraw, it actually gives you the option to then transfer to whatever account you have connected to TPT. This is really cool because you can like just grow your balance here if you want. You can take it out if you want, like it's totally up to you. But just knowing that it's here and it's locked in within, 1 day or even less, it's very convenient for traders, So I think this is a very neat feature that they've, personally made themselves. They do have the educational piece of a free ebook, 3 secrets you must know to become a funded trader. You just have to submit your email and they'll send this over to you for free. So that's a pretty, neat resource you can use when you do log into your dashboard. Coming over here, the calendar, you'll see when market is open versus closed, especially during holidays. And they also have important events that are happening for news releases. So again, when you are a pro and pro plus trader, you can't trade any news releases 1 minute before or after. So this is a great place to check, where certain news events are going to take place on. They have the daily journal where this is just straight numbers. You're not able to actually write anything here. It's just going to give you a breakdown of your stats from the date to how many contracts you used, to how much profit you made, etc., etc. But it's going to break down all of the numbers here. On the bottom left, it's just an overview of what your account looks like. This is straight off their website. So if you were to take the login and password and try it out, by all means, it's not mine. So yeah, this is just to give you like information on your account and where you're currently at with your evaluation. Here's that little reset thing that I mentioned earlier if you want to reset your funded account as well, up to 3 times. Now, keep in mind too that because this is straight off their website, as far as like their help center page, it might be completely updated. So some of these pictures might be a little bit more dull compared to where it's at now, but this is still kind of the same idea. And then finally, for the equity curve, you can see your current balance, on a daily basis where you're at, and, if there's any changes, how many days you've traded, when did you first start, and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of really great things about Take Profit Trader, and I am going to talk about my overall opinion at the end of the video in just a few minutes here. But before I do that, one thing, or 2 things I should say, that really stood out across social media and even from my own, judgment going through the company as well, is 2 things that really stood out that I believe, and apparently a lot of other traders believe, can help improve the program. Is going to be first the emphasis on the educational aspect. So as we saw in the mission statement at the beginning of this video, one of the pillars is a focus on education in order to make the game better for traders. Now, based on the dashboard, aside from the daily journal and, seeing your equity curve and seeing like, stats on your trading, that's a very important piece to help a trader understand his or her own numbers and how to, break that down and do better. But aside from that piece, there's only the ebook right here that is available, right? And again, that's only from their dashboard from what I can find when I logged in. So if that really is the only 2 major educational pieces, I think there's a lot more room for TPT to kind of grow upon and, really focus more on education with maybe offering group coaching, one-on-one coaching, maybe having like webinars or seminars or just more courses, more educational pieces that they really wanted to, focus on in order to make the game better. Because if that is part of the mission statement, then I think that it's important for them to really build on that foundation. So please correct me if I'm wrong, if I am missing that they are doing a huge educational piece all the time. Comment that down below. I do see them on social media that they are posting some posts here and there for like educational pieces for trade psychology, or telling traders to have better risk management, that kind of stuff, but not the in-depth kind of education I think that, at least for myself and apparently other traders, are expecting, especially if it is part of your mission statement. So yeah, hopefully that all made sense. And then the second piece is the most like widest, biggest thing that a lot of people have talked about on social media has to be the trailing drawdown from the pro account, and then coming from the eval with the end of day. So whatever drawdown option they go with, whether it's trailing or if it's end of day, then cool, like that's great. There's Apex as trailing and they pay out so much. There's end of day drawdown for My Fund of Futures, Top Step, Elite. There's a lot of other companies that have it. That's great too. But I think the biggest thing was transitioning from an eval with end of day to a pro account with trailing. I think it's important maybe for TBT like highlight that on their main site, like right there, right when you go onto the website, you look at the accounts that are being offered right before you sign up for them, to kind of highlight this idea, just so that it's known before people get confused when they do move into a pro account, and they easily blow the account apparently because it became trailing and they don't even know what trailing is. Now of course it's definitely the responsibility of the buyer to understand what they're getting into and what accounts they're going to be purchasing and what it looks like as they move along the process with TPT. But also I think it could be helpful for the customer, like not to completely, hold their hand along the way to sound like, hey, this is how this works, this is how this works. But it can also just be very extra transparent. And in a world where we have a bunch of prop firms that sometimes aren't transparent with, X, Y, and Z, this can definitely clear some of those holes and definitely clear some of those confusion, or clear some of the confusion that's happening with traders when they go from eval to end of day to a pro account, which is a sim funded where you get payouts, which is a trailing, right? Especially if it's their first time ever in trailing too, they might not have any idea how that works versus end of day. So I think that would be the biggest thing I've seen from reviews, from social media, from content creators, just from everyone, and even my own personal opinion too. So keeping it maybe the same all the way through, whether you're going to do trailing drawdown all the way through or end of day drawdown all the way through, or if they are going to keep it one and then convert to the other, maybe highlight that very important piece right off the bat so that people know. Maybe even when they first buy the combine, or I'm sorry, when they first buy the evaluation, they're about to like check out and process the payment and everything. There could be like a little fine print checkbox that says, hey, when you do pass the eval, you move into a pro, and this happens. If the person checkboxes, that box, then it's totally up to them. At least they're aware of it, but it's in their face, So that would be the only two suggestions for improvement from what I've seen on the internet, from my own personal opinion as well. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap that all the way up to my final thoughts on TPT. I do believe that Take Profit Trader has a really amazing program. Overall, they obviously have a really great transition from the Pro to the Pro Plus. I think it's really smooth how, anything over 5,000 you can take profits. It's very clear on the guidelines of what the payout policy is, and it's one of the most flexible payout policies out there. So they definitely have a really, really great foundation that they already have. But because they are missing little pieces of development with education, and then the transparency with the drawdown part, definitely if they're able to kind of incorporate more educational courses and really build on that whole mission statement in that in itself, I think that can help the company grow even more. But it's already obvious that they're huge. They're very popular. They have thousands upon thousands of followers and traders. They have so many reviews on Trustpilot as well. So they're definitely doing a great job, and they're definitely growing as much as I would hope that they can grow. But for me personally, I won't be trading with them anytime soon. I think right now I'm still trying to grow the accounts that I have, focus on the companies that I'm with, and then maybe in the future, whenever that may be, I might consider to go with them, especially because they have a really great payout policy. So maybe in the time to come, when I'm more of an intermediate or advanced trader where I'm taking more consistent payouts, I might consider it. But right now, it's totally cool with where I'm at. And if you are looking for a company that has really flexible payouts and you don't mind that transition from end of day to trailing before it becomes static, then this is the place to be. At least you know you also become a live trader too. So it is very clear that they do push people into their prop account, their live prop account. So that is a huge, huge green flag as well. So I do appreciate all of your time and support. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, being able to break down the company, giving my honest opinion about it all, and also sharing some feedback that I've seen on the internet from other people to you. But as always, I wish you nothing but the best and most success in everything you do, and I will see you all in the next video.